Welcome back. Every July for the past 37 years, our family has camped at Yogi In The Smokies. That's a Jellystone campground in Cherokee, North Carolina. And what can I say? It's our favorite place to camp. Before we get to the fun stuff, I'm going to get a few negative things out of the way. Some of the sites are pretty tight, and it depends on which site you get. And the grounds could use some better upkeep, like more gravel to help when it rains, which it definitely will rain if you're there longer than maybe just 2 days or so. The bathhouses could use some updating and more frequent cleaning. This campground is locally managed, but it is owned by a larger company out of Texas, so it can feel disjointed at times, and you might get wildly different answers to any question about rules depending on who you talk to. The big attraction for us, though, is the company we keep when we're here. There are so many of us that coordinate our dates each year so we can camp together, and that is what really makes camping here our favorite year after year. So Yogi in the Smokies is located in Cherokee, North Carolina. It is adjacent to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, but it is on the Cherokee Reservation. It's a fairly large campground and a lot of mature trees and a lot of pretty scenery. They have bathroom facilities and arcades and laundry facilities and things like that. I think the sites are pretty spacious for the most part. You'll find some that are pretty tight, but this is my parents' site that they've had for years, and they have enough room for their 26-foot travel trailer, the white tent you see there, and 2 vehicles. There are a lot of cabins to choose from here. That's kind of a new thing in the last 20 years, and they have different sizes and different price ranges. You can get one that's basically just a couple of beds and nothing else, all the way up to one with a full kitchen and a loft and right on the river with a screened-in porch as well. They also have a large playground with a basketball court and an activity center with things going on. But the big hit for our crowd is Gacha Ball. The most common thing I hear my daughter say all week as she rides by on her bike is, "Hey Dad, I'm headed to Gacha Ball." They do have a large pool. We tend to swim in the river most of the time, but it is there. And you get to see the man himself, Yogi Bear. He comes out every morning and meets with the kids, and they get photo time and, lots of hugs, and sometimes they have some sort of activity he's doing. And then they have the Yogi Wagon.
Look at it, look at it. Now this is how you know the earth takes care of itself. You see all those clouds? That's water. That's mist that's going back up. It's taking all the water droplets off the ground, and it's taking it up and carrying it over the clouds again.
And the wagon heads out every morning about 9 a.m., so get up there early if you want a seat. And there's wildlife there. We see a couple of beautiful owls there every year at the park. They come out around dusk hunting for food, and it's a great photo op. And the campground is on the beautiful Raven Fork River, and it is beautiful. We love that river. There's great tubing, swimming, and lots of great trout fishing as well. It's stocked by the Cherokee tribe. So you have to have a special Cherokee license to fish there. There's a swimming hole on one end of the campground with a large rock and the water deep enough for the kids to jump off of. And the tubing is great and very convenient because you don't have to drive anywhere, and the kids can walk up to the top end of the campground themselves and tube down. And the park is very close to Mingo Falls, which at 120 feet tall is the tallest waterfall in the Smoky Mountains. You won't see it listed that way because it's technically not in the Smoky Mountains National Park because it's on the reservation, but it is beautiful, and we go every year. And we always take a large group over and do the hike. It's only 2/10 of a mile from the campground down at the base of the trail to the actual waterfall. And something we heard about 30 years ago that we do every year is there's a side trail that I would advise you hike at your own risk for sure, because it can get kind of treacherous. But if you can make it up that trail all the way up to the top, you can actually peek over the top of the 120-foot tall Mingo Falls if you have the stomach for it anyways, because I definitely get some butterflies in my stomach when we're up there. But then if you keep on going up the trail, there is another smaller waterfall that we like to get in and cool off after the hike, and some beautiful scenery up there as well. And it's always a fun time for the kids.
5,
But I suggest you check out Mingo Falls while you're in the area. It is beautiful, and we never miss it. So Yogi in the Smokies in Cherokee, North Carolina. One of my favorite places. We've been coming here. This is our 37th straight year. And technically, you know, we love this campground, but we can do what we do at 1,000 different campgrounds. And really what always draws us back every year is the fact that we're here with some of our closest friends and family, and we're hanging out in the Yogi Lounge. Ah, the infamous Yogi Lounge. That's the name we came up with for our favorite spot in the river, and we made our own sign, and it's a spot that gets lots of sunshine and where the current isn't too strong. So we anchor down about 5 or 6 two-seater tubes out there every day. We bring coolers, we have music going, and it's just a great place to relax in the river, and it's our favorite place to hang out. Camping really is all about hanging with family and friends to me. And one of the things we started doing a few years ago was doing a dinner rotation, and we now have 6 families or 6 groups that contribute, and they cook dinner each night. And so it is a lot of work to cook for 30 people, but you only have to do it once. And we were treated to some excellent meals. My sister, the first night, provided us an Italian meal with delicious lasagna and salad. Some friends of ours that we consider family really provided a shrimp night that was amazing. And some newcomers to the group this year provided a low country boil for everyone one night, and let me tell you, nobody left hungry that night. My wife and I always provide taco night every year, and we just really enjoy it. We got tacos, and then we also do bacon fried corn on the Blackstone griddle. My sister and her husband did barbecue, and he smoked a couple of Boston butts the night before. It was fantastic. And my youngest sister and her husband provided smash burgers, which are always a hit. And on Saturday nights, we always roast hot dogs over the fire. And that doesn't even count the delicious breakfasts we had and the homemade fried donuts provided by Josh. It's just fantastic. But sitting around the fire and catching up with everybody is just awesome. And one of the things that I try to do every year is I bring a projector up and a laptop, and I set up a movie night for the kids at least once. Try to do it twice if there's time, but they seem to really enjoy it, and it gives the adults a couple of hours to kind of hang out by the fire and not have to worry about anything for a little while. And I always find it entertaining to see just how many kids can pull up their chairs once they see me fire up that projector. It gets pretty crowded over there quick. And of course, we always try to squeeze in some night tubing whenever the river comes up, and that's always one of our favorites. So whether we're hanging out in the Yogi Lounge, reuniting with old friends that we haven't seen in a year, filling our bellies with some of the best food that you could just possibly imagine, or maybe even breaking out the instruments and providing our friends with some impromptu concerts. Everybody.
I like mine with lettuce and tomato, pies, 57 and French fried potatoes. Then kosher pickle and a cold draft beer. Well, good God Almighty will tell you what's in your mind. Cheeseburger in paradise, making the best of every virtue and vice. Work every darn bit of sacrifice. Pick it up, cheeseburger in paradise.
It will likely always be my favorite place to camp. And as long as I'm able, I'll keep taking my kids. So please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this. And I hope you got some valuable information about Yogi in the Smokies. And if you decide to stay there, I hope you enjoy it just as much as we do.